Garden is your one-stop shop for all your indoor gardening needs. It doesn't matter what you grow or how you grow it, our knowledgeable, friendly staff is here to help. Our team listens to your unique story, interests, values, personal experience, and helps develop solutions that are right for your garden. Whether it's tomatoes, herbs, microgreens, mushrooms, medicinal plants, houseplants, you name it. So come visit us today and experience a different kind of grow shop. A grow shop for everyone.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
KC Pet Project is beginning to host campus tours at the KC Campus for Animal Care on a weekly basis.
This is an incredible facility, not only in terms of the number of pets that they can handle, but in terms of the number of services provided to our residents, from adoption to veterinary care for the animals that come in, to health screenings, vaccinations, and so on. It's really an impressive facility. 56,000 square feet, which is immensely larger than what we used to have. They cycle through over 10,000 animals a year, and a lot of those go out for adoption, so it's really impressive.
For a $20 donation, you can sign up on KC Pet Project's website to come and see a VIP behind-the-scenes tour of all of our beautiful new campus here in Swope Park. You'll be able to give enrichment treats out to the dogs, learn about clicker training techniques that we do here with our canines that are available for adoption, and be able to learn all of the programs and services that KC Pet Project has to offer for Kansas City, Missouri.
Human trafficking is the exploitation of people for profit when freedom is stolen. It's the fastest growing crime in the world, and it's happening all around us. The Center for Prevention of Abuse offers free and confidential services for survivors, prevention education for young people, and professional trainings for community members. Know the signs of human trafficking and help us build a safe and peaceful community. For more information, please visit centerforpreventionofabuse.org.
coming to you live from AOD Studios in beautiful downtown Kansas City, Missouri. It's time for Top Shelf, the Elevated Life, with Vernon McClanahan, Zach Smith, Chuck Green, and Dave Stevenson. Now, it's showtime!
God, there's another one. What's up, everybody?
Yo, yo.
Hey, beautiful Tuesday outside today.
Yes, it
Welcome to another edition of Top Shelf. I'm Big V.
Zach. Chuck.
And we're here to
Chuck G.
pump you up.
You up.
Okay, so, you know what? We weren't doing this before, but we're going to go ahead and dab in because we know how much awesome that is. What are you dabbing in with, everybody? Show us. Put it there in the comments. I got Frozen Bog, B-A-G, which stands for bunk-ass gear.
Bunk-ass gear.
It's kind of a joke from the breeder, so. But this is some rosin that obviously I pressed, and this is what, going to be giving this away tonight on the Wheel of Dank.
I got some of that good shit, too. I got some OG blend.
OG blend.
Some more stuff that we smushed.
Yes, we did.
In the essence of the show and me actually being able to be involved, I'm choosing not to dab in because
Chuck's a lightweight.
I will just sit over here like a zombie the entire show if I do.
He's a lightweight. So dab in. Yabba dabba do.
Love dabbing in. Miss dabbing in. I've missed doing the first dab of the show. It's kind of helps set the pace of the show.
We love to dab in here. Helps me with my anxiety. Cannabis is a medication. Beautiful little dab rig here that was I got this from Canabrew, not this last year but the year before when they were good.
Brenda says she's dabbing in with the GG4 she won.
Oh yeah, she won
Nice,
from our
Brenda.
smoke, one of our last smoke sessions.
Nice, Brenda. You like that GG4?
Tell us how it is.
She said she's been rationing it, so I'm assuming that means it's good.
Right?
So it's been real good. Around here, the weather's beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful,
Yes, it is.
beautiful.
Man, it really has
No
been
more
the past
snow.
few days. Yeah.
Snow's all gone.
Snow's
finally.
melted.
I was looking at the monthly forecast, and it looks like hopefully this weather's going to stick around for a little while.
No more winter.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to say that. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know
a bit
what
early for that one.
Anybody heard what Punxsutawney Phil said?
It's supposed to be early spring.
Early spring.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's see if he's right.
Phil.
If not, we'll be having him for Thanksgiving.
Yes, Jason Jackson Wearline. We have brought back the Wheel of Dank
Yes, we have.
by popular demand. Hey, we received feedback and we listened, okay?
Yep.
We're
We
here for
received feedback and we listened because why? Because we care. Who do we care about? We care about the working man
Absolutely.
because that's what we are.
We care about you guys because you guys are the ones we're doing this for.
Now, if you can tell me what movie that was from, I'll give you a thumbs up.
I can't. I don't know.
I
What
We
have
care
no
about,
clue.
and if you can tell me who said it, we
Okay.
care about the working man.
Oh,
That's what we are.
I know
Don't
who that-
say it, dude.
It just popped into my head. I wasn't gonna say it.
I
I
really
don't.
don't.
I just realized what it was. I got it.
Okay, so tonight we have a really kick-ass show. We've been working hard. We've been up late at night, man, every night till like 8 p.m.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, dude. It
It sounded good. I was
just made that up.
trying to go with you on that.
Anyway, so we've been up. We've been working on this show all week. It's something that we've decided that we need to do to make our show better is to work on it a little bit longer and have an idea what we're going to be doing up front instead of getting on the show and going, oh, what are we going to talk about?
Right.
So anyway, you got it, Anna. Dan Aykroyd said it, but who was the character, not the real actor, the character, and what show was he in? That's what I want to know. But yes, you're right. It was Dan Aykroyd that said it.
No Googling either.
No Googling.
Well, if they're Googling, that means they're not watching the show.
Right.
So,
True story.
So don't Google. But our show tonight, look, we're all about elevating here. We're all about living the elevated life. Okay? One of the things that we don't want to do is we don't want to walk away from our roots. Okay? You know, the healing power of cannabis is something that means a lot to us. And it's something that we're going to be talking a lot about this year. And it's something that we adore. Also, we're going to be talking about a lot of healing plants and herbs and things like that. Psilocybin, ayahuasca, you know, all kinds of stuff we're going to be getting into on the show. So it's just who we are. And if you don't like who we are, then, you know, there's plenty of podcasts out there for you to watch.
Yeah.
But we're all, you know what? We're about living the elevated life. Okay, we're about healing from past traumas. We're about healing, you know, we're about helping veterans work through their PTSD. And we're about getting people who are addicted to opiates off of opiates. Hey, Chad, what's up? Rachel, I see Chuck's here. Danny,
Who's
what's
that
up,
guy?
my boy? Hey, Jen, good to see you. So anyway, we're all about the elevated life. You guys know that. And elevated life means more than just, you know, getting high. Of course, you know, that's being elevated too. But it's all about fixing all the shit in you that, you know, you need to fix so that you can get past those traumas, man, and elevate. So Max Groove, my man.
Yeah.
All right. We love Max Groove around here. He's the one that does our intro.
Yep.
And it's showtime. That's Max Groove.
It was a lot of fun putting it together.
It was.
Max kicks ass, man.
Yeah.
Max kicks ass.
Good to see you, Max.
You kick ass, Max. Anyway, not to be, never mind. I'm not going to go there. Anyway, so last week, what did we talk about?
We talked about
owning your
own shit,
your shit.
and the challenges that we put out for everybody, and self-reflection.
How are we doing on those challenges?
I'm doing great.
Are you doing great?
Yeah.
What about you?
I waxed a little the day after the show, but after that I've been stuck to it.
Dude, I shot up like 4 fucking pounds, man.
Man.
Yeah, but didn't you talk about today? It wasn't because of the food, though. Was it?
No, I was holding water weight.
I was going to
And
say.
you know, what's really weird is, and he knows it, he's been working out with me for over 2 years now. Every time I add cardio to my workout plan,
That's what I was
gain
talking
weight.
about. Yeah.
I gain weight. Isn't that weird? But no, it's not, because cardio actually for guys over 50 or, you know, in their late 40s, early 50s, or past in their late 40s and beyond, from what I understand, what I've read, what I've researched, that cardio will actually cause your body to release cortisol. And cortisol is a stress hormone, causes us to go into the fight or flight.
Yeah.
And our body actually starts storing fat. So I would say that's probably what happens, because I'm always just plowed. So, you know, I'm going to just stick with the HIIT training, the HIIT, the high intensity.
That's my favorite.
Interval trainings, you know, for things, you know, and stuff like that. But I did come back down, so I am back down. So don't worry, guys. I'm still there. I'm back down. So anyway, we got a great show for you tonight. We got some giveaways. And you know what? Since it's legal now, we feel free to share. I want to share this concentrates that I make with everybody. So we're going to be giving away some dabs. We're going to be giving away some seeds. I've actually got some from Robin Hood Seeds. I've got some frozen bag seeds.
Oh, do you?
So we're going to be giving away frozen bag seeds and frozen bag live rosin tonight on the Wheel of Day. So that's something that's cool.
Yep.
Plus, everybody who's on the Wheel of Dank tonight will transfer over. What's up, Canna Steve? That will transfer over to our monthly giveaway.
Fantastic.
Which I believe we're going to do next week.
Next week.
Oh,
Because we got a special guest coming next week and a great show.
Yes,
Tonight's show, we're talking about toxicity
Yes.
in our lives and detoxing our lives.
Something
okay?
I think it's something that everybody is familiar with, whether they recognize it or not.
That's
everybody
true.
is familiar
Very true.
with it.
We all have toxic behaviors, okay?
Yep.
So tonight's about detoxing our lives, and you know, this is February. It's the first show of February.
Yeah.
It's the month of love. amongst other things. But, you know, we're going to focus on love right now. And the love we're focusing on tonight is self-love, Chuck.
Self-love.
And so with that, we're going to talk about toxic behaviors and ridding our lives of toxic stuff, okay? So Zach and I sit down today, and we worked through a bunch of shit.
Yes, we did.
And we're like, fuck the script. We're not going to do any kind of, because, you know, we've been trying to take notes and put everything down, and it's just like it doesn't flow. Chuck don't like it. I don't like it. He don't like it. We like to just be.
Didn't feel like us, man.
No, it's not. And I mean, here's the thing. How can you be surprised at some of the crazy shit that comes out of my mouth if I'm reading a script that even if when I wrote it last week, I just can't do it.
Hell, I'm even surprised at the things that come out of your mouth and my mouth.
I know, dude. That's what I'm saying, you know. At least you're not surprised about what things that go in. Well, even some of that, I can't believe some of the shit I eat. So anyway,
Man, who are you telling?
Tonight we're talking about toxic behavior. But before we get into it, we've got a funny little video quiz about toxic behavior to see where you're at on the toxic scale. Because the first thing we're going to talk about before we get into a few other areas is one of the things we have to do, we wanted to address first off is your own and our own toxic behavior. Because, you know, one thing I notice, and especially on social media, I see posts all the time talking about everybody else's toxic behavior. Everybody talking about how these people are toxic, these people are toxic, these people are toxic. And I'm going, what about you? And I start to post something that says all toxic people, and then I'm like, what about me? I think I better own my shit here. I better find out where I'm toxic at. So we're going to talk about toxic behaviors and how to kind of get free of our own toxic behaviors before we're going to take the plank out of our eye before we try to remove the speck of sawdust out of our brother's eye. So we're going to go to this little video. I want you guys to grab a pencil and a piece of paper if you can. Take this little quiz, and at the end of it, we're going to see where we're all at. You don't have to share. If you want to, you can share. But we're going to see where we're all at the end of this little quiz. So everybody get ready, get a pen, get a piece of paper, and we're going to watch this silly little video that we pulled off of somewhere, someplace out of, you know, some other space and time. We got a hold of it, and we brought it here for you. So
Just
here it
for
is.
you.
All for you guys.
See him. He's the video guy. If we get in trouble, it's his fault. Show that video, Dave. Damn it, Dave!
This quiz was created to help you become more self-aware and reflect on how your behavior may be affecting your relationships. It is not meant to be used as a substitute for advice from a medical professional. Question 1. You're joking around with your friend, and you accidentally say something a little too sarcastic. They are visibly upset and tell you that you've really hurt their feelings. Do you A. Tell them they shouldn't be so sensitive. You were just joking. B. Say that you didn't mean to hurt their feelings, but refuse to apologize. Or C. Apologize and admit you took the joke too far. Question 2. You text your friend and ask them to hang out. They say they'd love to, but they're going on a date with their partner tonight. They suggest that you reschedule for another day. You've already hung out with your friend a few times this week. How do you react? A. You get angry and tell them that they're choosing their partner over you. B. You act like nothing's wrong, but feel jealous of their partner. Or C. You tell them to have a great time on their date. You're happy for them and glad that they are spending quality time with their partner. Question 3. How often do you find yourself in drama with others? A. Often. It seems to follow you everywhere you go. B. Sometimes. If you don't get along with someone, you might intentionally start drama with them. Or C. Rarely. You try your best to avoid drama. Question 4. Looking back at the arguments you've had in your life, how did they usually end? A. None of them were your fault. The people you were arguing with were always in the wrong, so you never needed to apologize. B. You said you were sorry if you were wrong, but you didn't really mean it. You still hold resentment towards most of the people you disagreed with. C. You understood where the other person was coming from and compromised with them. You apologized if you were in the wrong and accepted other people's apologies if they were genuine. Question 5. How do you feel when you have a disagreement with someone? A. Very excited. You love proving people wrong. B. Somewhat excited. Arguing can be fun from time to time. C. Neutral or uncomfortable, because you rather not argue if you don't have to. Question 6. Imagine that you had to give feedback to a coworker or classmate on their work. What would you do? A. Try to find as many mistakes as you can and point them out. Even if they do a good job, you never comment on what they do well because you enjoy being critical. B. Give your honest opinion and don't pay much attention to how your comments might make them feel. Or C. Try your best to give helpful, constructive feedback while being considerate to their emotions. Question 7. How do you feel when people tell you about their accomplishments and success? A. You feel threatened. You think about how you measure up to them and whether they're better than you. B. You feel jealous, but admire their hard work. Or C. You feel neutral or happy for them. The results. If you chose mostly A's, you have a lot of toxic traits. You may be engaging in toxic behaviors that are affecting the quality of your relationships. Do you remember the toxic traits we listed at the beginning of this video? That's right. According to psychologist Dr. Aaron Etoff, being argumentative, inconsiderate of others' feelings, and judgmental are all toxic traits. If you resonate with any of these, the good news is this doesn't mean you're a bad person. You can be more aware of potentially harmful behaviors moving forward. If you find yourself doing these things, it can help to take a step back and ask yourself, is there any way I can make this situation more positive and beneficial for everyone involved? There's no need to feel discouraged. Self-improvement is a lifelong journey for all of us, no matter what toxic traits we may have. If you chose mostly B's, you have some toxic traits. You could benefit from a little self-reflection, but you're pretty good at keeping your toxicity in check. You might have a hard time admitting you're wrong sometimes, or start arguments even when they're unnecessary, but you don't intentionally hurt others. Let's review some of the warning signs to look out for. In an interview with Healthline, relationship therapist Jorel Carabello pointed out that jealousy and resentment are 2 indicators that toxic behaviors are affecting your relationships. If you find yourself having these feelings, instead of acting on them, it can help to pause, acknowledge your emotions, and explore why you have them. If you chose mostly C's, you have little to no toxic traits. Congratulations! Your results show that you're a healthy communicator and don't indicate signs of toxic behavior. You're empathetic, non-judgmental, and can take accountability when you've messed up. You've probably done a lot of self-work to get to this point, so give yourself a pat on the back. Oh, and be sure not to let others take advantage of your kindness.
That's right. So how many of you guys got all the A's?
Oh, man.
I know I got a lot of A's. Did you get a lot of A's?
I got a couple.
You got a couple A's?
I got a couple. I got mostly C's, a few B's.
We're not talking about your grades in school, brother. We're talking
Oh,
about
no,
this.
that was all F's. What are you talking
right.
about? We just had that conversation. No.
Who wants to share with us what they had? What was your score, guys? Sorry about that. I'm getting my cord all screwed up. Anybody? Nobody?
Who got the lowest score?
Nobody wants to say.
I'm curious, Run Rabbit, you put in there you aced it.
Yeah,
Does that mean you got all A's?
Run Rabbit's on YouTube, so if you're not on YouTube, you won't see him. But
yeah, that was funny.
Run Rabbit aced it, he said. Rachel got C's. Christine got mostly C's. I don't know if I believe that.
He said toxic as
Run
fuck.
Rabbit, toxic as fuck. I wish everybody could see that. That's hilarious.
Oh, man.
Rochelle got mostly C's.
I believe that.
B's and C's.
I believe that.
Chad Learn got B's. And here's the thing. All of this is relative to your self-awareness.
Yeah, true story. Yeah, and I absolutely agree with you.
I got all C's. I got all C's.
Brother, I think you might need no.
That was pretty toxic. That was gaslighting right there, bro.
That was, wasn't it? That was just an example.
I know, man. That's messed up. So anyway, we're all toxic as fuck. But that's why we're here. We're going to heal. We're all going to make each other better. We're not any better than you are. We're definitely not sitting up here going, hey,
not
man.
at all, man. We don't have it all figured out.
Most of it. Not all. But we're not up here going, you know what, man? We've arrived, and now we're going to help you arrive. No. Hey, we're just like you guys. we're all on this path together,
Yeah.
trying to fucking heal and grow and do what we, do what we do and live the best life and elevate our life so that we live.
I'll tell you, if I would have,
beautiful.
I don't know about you guys, but if I would have taken that test 3 or 4 years ago, I would have got a completely different outcome than I do today.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
And here's what I noticed, okay? If I would have taken that test last week, I would have got a different outcome than a week before that, because it's like this when you're going through this shit and you're learning, man.
Yeah, that's true.
And
That's
what
a
I
very
say
good
is
point.
you always rubber band back,
Yeah.
you know? What you do is you rubber band back to where you were, and then you make it a little bit, and each time you rubber band back, you don't quite rubber band back as far.
That's absolutely true.
So you're growing, you know what I
100%,
mean?
yeah.
And you just can't let yourself, get down on yourself if you do something and then you feel like you've grown past it, and then all of a sudden you get put in a situation and you revert back to that old behavior, okay? And it reminds me of a story or an example that Wayne Dyer uses, okay? And I know I quote Wayne Dyer a lot, but that's because he's a
great.
wise guy and his wisdom
Very much
really helped shape
I was
where
listening
my
to
life
him
is
just
now.
this morning.
Yep. I mean, you know what? You can't go wrong. So, hey, Nick, what's up, brother? Miss you, buddy. Y'all stop by and see me sometime. Nick's cool, dude.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to introduce you to Nick when. So anyway, back to what I was talking about.
You reminded of a quote.
Yeah, the quote. The quote from Wayne Dyer is, "When you're squeezed, what comes out of you is what's in you." And what it is, if you have a lemon and you squeeze that lemon, you get lemon juice. If you have an orange, you get orange juice. An apple, you get apple juice. A banana, you just get mush.
You get banana juice.
You don't get no juice.
What are you talking about?
If you squeeze it
Wait.
right, you might get some juice.
We can talk about that in the toxic foods later.
Yeah, we'll do that. So anyway, what's in you when you're squeezed, when pressure is put on you, what's really inside of you is what comes out, okay? So if you get put in a situation that puts pressure on you and you get angry, anger is what's inside you. If you get sad, then sad is what's inside. Depending on what comes out of you when you get put in that situation that applies that pressure is what's inside of you. And it's a great time to self-reflect when you get, because here's the thing. I'll be walking all, on water and shit, thinking I'm, up there with Jesus, feeling good about myself, going, yeah, man, I'm enlightened. I've arrived, man. And then I get put in a situation and it knocks me right back down to where I have to realize that, no, I got a whole lot of growing to do.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's always a hard lesson. But so let's talk, though. Let's talk about how, when we recognize these, how do we recognize the toxic behaviors in our life, Chuck?
Well, I thought a lot about this earlier when we were talking about it, and I think one of the first things you have to do, you mentioned it already, but self-reflection. You have to start by taking a look inside to see the vision that you have for yourself. Are you really being the person you want to be? And if not, what kind of behaviors do you have that are keeping you from becoming that person? And then identifying the triggers for those behaviors. So you mentioned a moment ago rubber banding, and oftentimes I feel like we can all be guilty of reverting back to something that makes us comfortable, and how that can usually be a toxic behavior. And so if you find yourself going back to those toxic behaviors that you're trying to eliminate, what triggers you to do so? And once you figure those triggers out, you can move forward even better in eliminating those toxic behaviors from your life. So for me, I would have to say self-reflection. You got to identify them first.
Absolutely.
And then you got to identify the triggers so that you can move past them.
So, and one thing I might throw in there is, when you're rubber banding back to old behaviors, it's whether it's to feel safe, whether it's to feel empowered, whether it's because you need to feel like you need to defend yourself or whatever. All of that comes from the ego. Okay, all of that stems from our ego side, and I'm not I'll be the first to sit here and say I'm not a no ego guy, okay? We need our egos. A healthy ego is an asset to our lives, okay? A healthy ego, just like everything else. We were given an ego for a reason, okay? And having a healthy ego, not being egotistical. But a lot of people think that your ego is just your, look at me, I'm cool. No. Your ego is there to protect yourself. It wants to protect you so that you don't feel bad about who you are, so you don't feel stupid in situations. So your ego will cause you to act out in a way that makes you feel like you're protecting yourself or whatever, So there's a whole lot of different aspects, a whole lot of different faces to the ego. Mm-hmm. And anytime that we find ourselves sliding back, we're going into ego. And ego simply stands for, just like job. Having a job stands for just over broke. I don't know where I learned that from, but I like it.
Yeah.
What ego stands for is edging God out. The more you get into your ego, the more you get away from source, God, whatever you guys choose to use for that terminology. If I say source, I'm talking about God, just so you know. So, ego means edging God out. And that's because, and Paul said it, and I'm not going to preach everybody here, but, I must decrease so that Christ can increase, okay? So, when he says I, he's talking about his fleshly nature, his ego needs to decrease so that his Christ consciousness can increase. So ego means edging God out. And I know I've rambled on here. So, but yeah, self-reflection is a big one. Feedback, that's one of the things we all have trouble with. So getting feedback from our friends and trusted people who we trust.
That's where it's at. That's
exactly right.
Because some people, if they're gaslighters or just as toxic as we are, they'll use that opportunity to really fuck with you. So I know you guys tell me I talk too fucking much.
You've got to sometimes. I know
the trusted source right there. Great example.
Right. Well, and you've got to have that not a huge group. You got to have a select few people that you can honestly talk to and be like, dude, am I being a douchebag here?
Right.
Do I need to correct myself? You got to have a couple, two, maybe three people that you can actually you can trust their feedback and know that they're not going to give you a line of shit.
100%.
Right. There has to be, you said it right there, that honesty. There has to be that honesty there, that they're willing to, hey, might be stepping outside their comfort zone to give you that honest feedback, but without being honest with them, there's no growth.
Right.
And so you have to have that honest, trusted circle. And if I may, to add to that, when you're growing and removing toxic behaviors and stuff from your life, what you're going to find is that like attracts like. So as you begin to remove toxic behaviors, you'll find that the toxic people in your life will also begin to eliminate themselves. Oftentimes it'll just be a natural selection.
And the people that aren't as, people that are walking in a little more elevated place will
exactly.
start to come to you, attract.
That's what I meant by like attracts like. So as you
I'll
grow.
tell you a good test, brother.
Yes, sir.
A good test to see if somebody's going to be honest with you. What I like to do when I meet a new friend is I like to go sneak into the bathroom and I get a little bitty glob of toothpaste, just a little bit, and I put it right in here inside my nose. And then I go out and I get in a conversation. I'll be talking with them and I'll be like, hey, what's up? And if they don't tell me I got a booger, they're done. Fuck them. I can't trust them. Because a friend will tell you when you got a booger in your nose.
That's true. They will.
A trusted friend will tell you when you got a booger in your nose. Anyway, that's just, sorry about the sidetrack there.
This can lead right into...
on that note, real quick though, when you get another key part about the self-awareness and the toxicity is when you get that feedback, don't go defensive.
Exactly.
You have to take that feedback in and realize, okay, let me go back and meditate on this. Let me really think about this. And let me see if this is something that holds true to me.
Yep.
And not go on the defensive and attack that trusted friend, because then you don't have that trusted friend.
Exactly. And self-reflection, you hit the nail on the head with that. You have to be willing to sit and ask yourself, where are you in that problem? If there's a problem, where are you, and what is your part in it?
What is your part in it? And you know what? That right there is going to bring me to this point that I'm going to make. and then we're going to jump on over to the news here real quick. But the point I want to make is that we're talking about all this, and it's very important with self-reflection, talking to other people, all that. It's very important that you try to really gain an understanding for your emotions and where they're at, because if you don't understand your own emotions and where they lead you and how you react, it's going to be tough to find out, to get that into that place where you can heal. So anyway, you know what? I'm going to try to stick to the clock a little bit here. And I see right here that it's 7:30 and it's time for Damn It Dave and the news.
All right.
So we're going to go to the news.
Damn it, Dave!
Yep.
Did you know that 1 in 4 trafficking victims is under the age of 18? Did you know that the average age of a child that is sex trafficked in America is only 13? Did you know the person selling the child for sex most often is someone that they know? Did you know that human sex trafficking is a criminal enterprise that targets our children in our communities that have already been abused or abandoned because they are the most vulnerable? Did you know these children have been coerced, lied to, and forced into trafficking through false promises, threats, and violence? Did you know that you can help these children? Now you know. Stop these crimes and help these children by learning more at humantraffickinghotline.org.
A substantial portion of America's homeless are veterans, but too often traditional approaches just don't work when it comes to veterans homelessness. But in Kansas City, one group of combat veterans has found a solution. This first-of-its-kind model has made enormous progress, and now Veterans Community Project has begun its national expansion and is looking for other communities ready to get serious about serving veterans.
What we wanted to do couldn't be done without commitment from the city. Veterans sleep on city streets and city parks. This is a local issue.
After I came home from Afghanistan, I spent nearly 12 years running from the reality of untreated post-traumatic stress. When I hit my lowest point and finally decided to seek help, I quickly realized I didn't actually know how to do that. Fortunately, I live here in Kansas City, and even though VCP is best known for tiny houses, they also provide wraparound services to thousands of veterans, no matter their situation. They guided me through the process and made sure that I got the help that I needed. VCP was there for me, and now I have the honor of leading their national expansion.
We know how to end veteran homelessness. The only question is, which community is ready to step up and be our next partner? To get this done, we need your support. This is your opportunity to be more than thankful to veterans. This is your chance to be involved.
Hi everyone, welcome to Not Necessarily the News. I'm your host, Damn It Dave. At first glance, you'd probably think this was some run-of-the-mill social media check-in. How's everybody doing? But the message came from Elmo, who is known on Sesame Street and beyond for his capacity to care. Responses to the message flooded in on X, Instagram, Threads, and Facebook. Conversations were also sparked on Reddit and other social media. People absolutely unburdened themselves, and Elmo took it all in. On X alone, Elmo's question received 180 million views by midday Wednesday. One of Elmo's earliest check-in messages was actually posted on Threads, where Elmo asked last Friday how people were doing. "Just on my way to buy some balsamic vinegar," came one popular reply, to which Elmo responded, "Elmo hopes it's yummy." "I'm doing okay. Hope you are too," said another commenter, who received the reply, "Elmo loves you." A user named Becky said people were trauma dumping so hard on Elmo, the official Sesame Street account had to tweet out mental health resources, adding, "God help us." Even President Biden weighed in late Tuesday, stating, "Our friend Elmo is right. We have to be there for each other, offer our help to a neighbor in need, and above all else, ask for help when we need it. In his responses this week, and in most moments since he was introduced in the 1980s, Elmo has shown that he exemplifies 3 of the most important attributes of a therapist. In many cases, comments on the replies contain people sharing positive messages, along with some practical advice amongst one another. And they were encouraging people who were struggling to keep sharing and to work to make things better. A Muppet's life may seem like an eternally happy mix of friends, music, and community spirit, but Elmo has struggled. His honesty in dealing with the challenges of life is part of what makes him so relatable to young kids. Those kids that share his excitement about the novelties of life, the same kids that share the frustration that things don't always go their way. Consider Elmo's rocky relationship with Rocco, his friend Zoe's famous and somewhat infamous pet rock. With intense feelings, Elmo hasn't always shown patience in navigating his friend's attachment to the inanimate object. Video of a 2004 clash between the friends over a cookie that was reserved for Rocco went viral in recent years. The complex dynamic even provoked a psychoanalysis from experts. Has anybody ever seen a rock eat a cookie? Elmo is just curious, Elmo tweeted in 2022, uncorking another front in the dispute. And once again, that Red Rascals message sounded far beyond Sesame Street's brownstones. Yes, my friend, actor Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson replied. This rock devours cookies. All kinds of cookies, he added. Tell Cookie Monster to move over, because I'm coming to Sesame Street to kick ass and eat cookies. And I'm guessing he's all out of cookies. For the record, that did not sit well with Cookie Monster, who isn't one for letting things go, especially if those things in question are cookies. They are words we all need to say and messages that we all need to hear. In one short message, Elmo reminded all of us that it's time to make time for each other. It's time to listen. If you or someone else you know is in crisis, please call, text, or chat with the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988, or contact the Crisis Text Line by texting TALK, T-A-L-K, to 741-741. Now, our next story is going to move us from one furry friend to another. The San Francisco 49ers soothe those nerves by getting some tender love from furry friends in, of all things, puppy therapy before their big win in the NFC Championship game against the Detroit Lions, ultimately getting them a berth at the Super Bowl in Las Vegas next week. San Francisco, who last played in the Super Bowl in 2020, ultimately losing to the Kansas City Chiefs in the famed come-from-behind victory, received a visit from the puppies on Friday, courtesy of the Humane Society of Silicon Valley. The team posted a video on TikTok with players hugging the furry friends. I'm gonna be here for a while, said tight end George Kittle. With animal therapy having such a positive impact on these athletes, the 49ers decided to adopt not one, but 2 French bulldogs, who they named Rookie and Zoe in 2018. That allowed them to become the first NFL team to foster emotional support animals. And speaking of those animals, our final story tonight discusses hot button issue number 2. That's right, number 2. Whether you call it canine contributions, the poo-poo platter, bowel bombshells, mutt mulch, or the forbidden chocolate, we all have to clean up from our pets. An Italian province has decided to conduct DNA tests to tackle the scourge of dog mess on the streets. They're tired of it. They've had enough. So now, once a dog DNA registration database is up and running, street cleaners and health officials in Bolzano will be able to collect the abandoned poop, have it genetically tested, and then trace the owners, who will face fines between 550 euros. If you're wondering, that converts to 54 to 540 US dollars. Any owner that refuses the DNA profiling for their dog will face a fine of their own, between 292 to 1,048 euros. That's $315 to $1,131 for those of you playing along at home. The provincial government in Bolzano City and the surrounding towns in the picturesque Dolomites region is creating the database for the almost 40,000 dogs in the area. Veterinary Department Director Paulo Zambato said, about 10,000 have already been registered. Bolzano receives a few hundred complaints a year from citizens about what they're calling improper management of public land, more than half of which are from dogs, he told Reuters. Law enforcement could only catch 3 or 4 of them because they would have to go and set up some kind of stakeout to catch the offenders. DNA registration will become compulsory from around late March. Owners will be expected to have blood tests conducted for their dogs in municipal dog shelters or at vet clinics at a cost ranging from 65 to over 100 euros. That's between $70 to $108 for those of you playing along. He did not give an estimated cost for the project, but did say that detection and administration expenses are expected to be covered by revenue generated from the fines. Bolzano, a mountainous German-speaking province near Austria, has quite the wide autonomy in making its rules. Zambato said that even other Italian cities had potentially been in touch to replicate that law. Tourists and non-residents are, of course, going to be exempted from that regulation. I don't know. That might be efficient, might not. We'll see how it works. Thanks for joining me on this week's Not Necessarily the News. I'm Dave Stevenson. Catch you next week.
KC Pet Project is beginning to host campus tours at the KC Campus for Animal Care on a weekly basis.
This is an incredible facility, not only in terms of the number of pets that they can handle, but the terms of the number of services provided to our residents, from adoption to veterinary care for the animals that come in, to health screenings, vaccinations, and so on. It's really an impressive facility. 56,000 square feet, which is immensely larger than what we used to have. They cycle through over 10,000 animals a year, and a lot of those go out for adoption, so it's really impressive.
For a $20 donation, you can sign up on KC Pet Project's website to come and see a VIP behind-the-scenes tour of all of our beautiful new campus here in Swope Park. You'll be able to give enrichment treats out to the dogs, learn about clicker training techniques that we do here with our canines that are available for adoption, and be able to learn all of the programs and services that KC Pet Project has to offer for Kansas City, Missouri.
Damn it, Dave.
Damn it,
Talk
Dave.
about owning your shit.
Own your shit.
That was a shitty
and for
story.
those of you who are new, this is Dab In.
Number two.
Dab In part 2, as we put it. So I'm going to do a little bit of frozen bag again. I have some Fritterman over there, but I'm liking this frozen bag, man.
You know what I realized after I was finished with that last dab?
What?
There's something missing in my dab rig.
What?
Water.
Oh my God, dude.
I did my first dab with no water.
No kidding.
No wonder you're over there choking, man.
Since I can't dab in, I will drink
in.
my green juice.
Drink your green juice.
Drink my...
So dab in for after the news. Hey, Matt, what's up?
Matt Cascio. The cannabis
Medical
nerd.
Matt.
Y'all might remember him from Terp Talk.
Yep, he did an entire 10-week series on the show a couple years ago called Terp Talk. We may actually re-air that series. That would be a nice series to re-air.
It would.
We might re-air that series.
Or reshoot an update. I don't mind that idea either.
And Matt's out pushing the weed. Matt, we're gonna be talking this next week about this really cool. We've been testing out a product for Matt. We're gonna talk about it next week. So, damn, yabba dabba do. Do you guys clean your dab rig after every single dab?
Every single
dab. Do you all do that? I've got one of these cool little Pressure Club flasks that has the alcohol bin on the side with these little, and I do the glob mops, and I just dab a little alcohol, and that's 99.9% isopropyl, so it does not leave a residue, because I don't want to dab alcohol residue from just your CVS bought shit.
Right.
So go online.
Don't want any
and
extra
get
terpenes?
you some 99.
Right.
Yeah, extra terpenes. Yeah. No extra terpenes. So we spent the first part of the show way too long talking about freedom from toxic behaviors, but I don't think it was way too long, because if it was as long as it took, then that's how long it took, and that's how important it was. So we want to spend a little bit of time right now that you guys have worked through all your problems and you've elevated and you're on the next level.
And you're all at C's now?
Yeah, you're all in the
You're all C students now.
Yeah, you're all C students.
In this class, that's good.
Yes, it is. Steve Burris, what's up, my man? What we want to do is we want to talk about eliminating all these other toxic fuckers from your life. Okay? So all these toxic people you got in your life, I know that I had a bunch of them here over the last couple of years. Okay? And I grew up in toxicity. My whole life was engulfed with toxic people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay? And so this is something that is very important to me, and it's something that it was very hard for me to do. One of the most toxic people in my life at the time was someone I had been in a relationship for over 20 years, you know? And when you realize what's going on, you know, I mean, it's not easy eliminating all the toxic people in your life, you know? And it's not necessarily that letting go of those people is hard. It's the situation that surrounds it and everything that is going to happen. There are some people, you know, there are people out there that got parents that are toxic. Mm-hmm. I've been a toxic parent. You know, I'll own that shit. I've been a toxic parent.
Here. I was at
one time. You know, we've had toxic parents. We learn that behavior. Toxic spouse. I've been a toxic spouse. I certainly had a toxic spouse. You know, we all go through this, and we have to own our shit, just like we talked about last week.
Yep.
Yeah, true story.
Okay. So anyway, you know, one of the things we want to talk about is getting, you know, separating ourselves, distancing ourselves, setting boundaries.
Yeah.
And that's the number one thing that we have to do with toxic people in our life. We have to set boundaries, and we have to set rigid boundaries, and we have to hold those boundaries.
Yep.
So what else do we do, man, to deal with the toxic people in our life?
Well, I mean, you not only do you set the boundaries, but once you realize that person's toxic, you limit your contact with them. You know, you like you said, like Chuck said earlier, like attracts like. Well, if you're moving on into this, you know, improving yourself and trying to be less toxic, well, you're going to attract the less toxic people into life. And
100%.
You know, again, you're attracted to them, they're attracted to you. You move on that, so you limit your contact with those people that you recognize are toxic.
You know something about that, don't you, Zach?
Yes, I do.
So, you know, and I think we all know something about that because, I mean, I think we've all had to go through that. And you guys, I'm sure there's a lot of you guys that have eliminated toxic people out of your life. Some people it's easy to eliminate. Some people it's not, you know. The one thing that you have to do when you're eliminating a toxic person in your life, one of the important things is that you really have to stay calm when you're dealing with them and not be pulled into that toxic behavior, and you stay detached from the situation. One of the most powerful tools that I learned, in my life was how, and I learned this at an early age, believe it or not, because I had to. It was a survival thing. But you have to learn to emotionally detach yourself from a situation. Mm-hmm. You know, it's okay to be emotionally involved in situations, but if that situation turned toxic, it's very important. And that's why I talked about, you know, being in touch with your emotions before. It's very important to be able to go in and remove yourself unattach yourself from a situation emotionally.
Yeah.
Because when you're in that situation, your emotions will mislead you. They'll misguide you. And that's when you need your rational mind to be making your decisions for you. So it's very important that you stay calm when you're dealing with the people. And in order to do that, you have to stay detached from that situation or the outcome of that situation emotionally. That's not always easy to do. It's very hard to do.
Not.
So, what else would you say would help us to eliminate the toxic people and keep them out of our lives?
Well, playing off what I said in our last segment, I want to talk about identifying toxic people, because I think that if you yourself have toxic, behaviors or whatnot that you don't recognize, it may not be easy for you to recognize when other people are being toxic, especially if you're trying to elevate, you're trying to get better with yourself. So the first thing that I would say is you need to pay attention to how you feel when you begin to interact with somebody. So if you start to interact with somebody and it's giving you, I had a person in my life that was very toxic, and I didn't recognize it right off, and it took me a while. And then when I finally did, I realized that I needed to pay attention to how I felt. And every time I would talk to this person, it would make me feel really terrible. I mean, almost make me sick to my stomach. And I knew that was a toxic relationship that I had to let go of.
And Rachel Nassing says that they're all there to teach us something. Do you agree with that?
I absolutely do.
I do too, especially if it's to teach us how to kick a motherfucker to the curb. I mean,
I want to make a point on what Chuck just said. He was talking about relationships. You can have two people that by themselves, on their own, they're not necessarily
we
toxic.
talked about that today.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I've got experience with this. But you get in a close, intimate relationship, and you two are toxic as hell together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of like oil and water don't mix.
Exactly, and that's something, especially when you get kids involved and stuff. That's something you really need to pay attention to and really need to focus on. And what's better for that child to grow up in that toxic environment? Something to really think about.
I just want to touch on something real quick, because my daughter right now is going through a situation like this, and staying in a toxic relationship too long, because the fear of the unknown and uncertainty creeps in.
Oh yeah, that's
and so it can keep you in. It can keep you in a situation much longer than you should be, because of that fear of uncertainty. But we were talking about self-love and setting boundaries and all the things that go with that. So when you love yourself more than you love the uncertainty, then the situation you're in, then you will gladly face that uncertainty just so that you can get away and evolve.
Absolutely. 100%. And so that brings me to my closing point on this subject. Know when the fuck to walk away.
Yeah.
You have 100%. You have to set those boundaries, draw those lines, and you got to know when it's time to walk away. And when it's time to walk away is when you realize, and we all get to that point in those relationships, when you realize this shit ain't going to change. You know what I mean? It just ain't going to change.
Right.
And then you walk away. So with that,
Kenny Rogers, he said, you got to know when to hold them. Know when to fold them. Know when to walk away, and know when to run.
That's right. Never count your money
couldn't resist,
while you're
brother.
sitting at the table. Anyway, so know when to walk away.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that brings us to, we are going to bring back up the wheel of dang.
I need to get that whole thing put back together now.
So we're going to do a couple spins on the wheel of dang, okay? We're going to spin. The first two spins are going to be for frozen bag live rosin.
The good shit.
Now, I'm going to say this. If you don't live in Kansas City, we're going to have to meet up. So, because the whole mail thing. And then we're going to spin twice again for frozen bag seeds.
There we go.
So, bring up that wheel, Dave. Give it a spin. If you got in there on the original post from my page or the page, and your name's not on there, we're sorry. Let us know. We'll get you on there next week. Gerard. Hey, GC, what's up, dog? I'll meet you soon. All right. That's your boy, ain't it?
Yep.
You know old GC, don't you?
We go back a little way.
I've been hearing a little bit.
Yep.
A little bit about old GC.
Yep. Are you on GC? Are you watching?
Are you here? Anyway, okay. That's a gram of rosin. I know he'll like that from what I hear. All right. Give us a spin.
Let's see. Who do we got?
Michael Forkham. We got you, homie. All right. Cool. Awesome. No, you should hit remove on that, Dave. Too late now. Okay.
You got another spin?
Yep. Okay, so that was a rosin. This is for seeds. Frozen bag seeds.
There we go.
I don't know the whole.
Brenda,
there
all
it is.
jacked up over here.
Brenda Vidore. Did I say that right? Vidore.
She is a habitual winner with us. She won last smoke sesh.
She always wins. One more for frozen bag seeds. One more. Spin it, Dave. We're going crazy giving stuff away. Crazy here. Oh, I thought it was going to be Joshua. Erica Hendricks. Okay, guys. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Dave. All right. So, here's the deal. If you're not watching, sorry for you. We will post your name on the page with instructions on how to claim your prize.
Yep.
Dude, please don't shoot me a message. I mean, shoot me a message, but if you're gonna claim your prize, shoot the page the message.
Exactly.
Okay. Shoot the page the message. So, some good winners. This frozen bag, I'm telling you what, that's some good stuff, Maynard. And
man.
What else have we got tonight, Zach? Do we have any videos left? Do we have that Super Bowl video?
No, I don't have the Super Bowl video.
Okay. Let's talk about the Frost Bowl first.
Yes, the Frost
Bring
Bowl.
that Frost Bowl up. So this is a Frost Bowl. It's going to be out in Columbia, Missouri on February 24th. It's only part of the day, I think, from like noon to 6 p.m. or some shit. Can you see that?
It's not, doesn't
It's
say
not on there, but so you can go to their page, Facebook page, just go, look up, search Frost Bowl, and all that, and that's put on by Growing with Justin, and, oh shit, is it Midmo Grower?
I think something like that.
Fuck, I can't remember. Another guy.
Yeah.
He's on Instagram. So anyway, go out there. I think there's going to be a whole lot of rosin floating around out there.
Yeah.
Might be some gifting going on.
What's beautiful about Missouri right now?
That's what's beautiful about Missouri is gifting. Love that gifting.
Yeah.
So get out there and support Justin. Support the little guy.
Yep.
So also we got another bowl.
Yes.
Do we have another bowl coming up?
I think so.
Only like the most
something
popular
like
one in
the
the country.
Super Bowl or something like that.
I guess it's super stupid.
There it is.
I'm not a real big football fan, everybody. I don't really give two shits about it, but it's pretty entertaining.
Yeah. This is gonna be
Put that up there.
This is being blown up beyond the norm.
Leave it there.
The normal this year.
Yes.
At least here in Kansas City especially, but
Yeah.
even all over, I mean, every social media, almost every sportscaster, everybody's got something to say about this because
I know, but you know what's weird, dude? Everything they say, you can't hardly, you don't really catch it, dude.
Yeah,
it's so swift.
It's so it just goes by
swift.
so
I see what I did
swift.
there?
Yeah, super swift.
It's so swift. Anyway,
Wait, I don't know if y'all can see that. Did I roll my eyes? I think or something.
yes,
like that.
Brendan,
Oh my
Chiefs
gosh.
are going to win.
Yes, it's
in
scripted.
the script.
It's scripted. It's definitely going to win, and it only plays
Oh,
right into
yeah.
all the other things going on with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce right now. So.
Yeah. So what do you?
Yeah.
I mean, this is what's going on in our city. Well, it's not going on in our city. It's going on in Las Vegas. I mean,
But if they
Arrowhead
win, it will
West.
be.
Arrowhead West. Let's not forget about the flag that's buried under Arrowhead Stadium. So we already claimed that territory.
you mean under Arrowhead Stadium?
I mean under whatever the
Raider
Las Vegas
Stadium.
Raider Stadium. I can't remember
what's the name of the stadium they're playing in?
Allegiant? No.
Allegiant.
Yeah, Allegiant Stadium. That's right.
Allegiant Stadium. Now okay, so they hollered at that guy, and he said that was all a hoax, and he had the flag. But I mean, you know, they made a point that you could buy that flag on eBay for like $8. Okay, so he could have got another flag.
That's a good one, Rachel.
Oh, wow.
What's it ushering in? I don't know.
Wow.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
Why is it Super Bowl? What's super about it?
Good
At
question.
least it's not the World Super Bowl like every other country has a team.
Yeah.
Like the World Series.
The World Cup.
What a sham.
Yeah. Which is going to be in Kansas City.
Six games
in 2 years. 2026 we'll be having it. Guess where? Arrowhead Stadium.
Yep.
Imagine that.
And there's six different games happening here.
It's not Arrowhead Stadium anymore.
Right.
But it is
Geehaw.
G-E-H-A.
Geehaw! That's what I always call it. Geehaw Stadium.
Arrowhead Field.
G-E-H-A. No, it's G-E-H-A Field at Arrowhead Stadium.
Arrowhead Stadium, yeah.
It's always going to be Arrowhead.
Is that
I don't
like
care what the fuck.
Sandstones now?
Who's paying
Cricket
for
Wireless
Yeah,
or whatever?
well,
Yeah, whatever. Sandstone's always going to be Sandstone.
GEHO is basically like Pfizer. So
Right.
So anyway, I don't know how y'all feel about that. Don't really care. So yeah. Anyway, it's going to be fun. We're all going to a Super Bowl party. So, do you have a Super Bowl party to go to?
I don't know.
Do you?
I will say it's a Super Bowl party. It's going to be pretty awesome. I'm driving down to my wife's family's on the farm.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And we're just going to spend some, no real party. We're just going to sit around and watch the game together as family. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
Some good food.
Yeah.
Yep.
Eat some good food, yeah.
I'm sure we have some place to go.
Some neck bones and some whatever else they
Right.
cook down there. Some fried chicken. My mother-in-law makes the best fried chicken.
Oh, nice.
Seriously.
All right, so we got a couple other things we want to get in here real quick, right?
Well, our other video was for a topic we didn't quite make it to.
What?
Food.
Food. We did not make it to the food. We'll have to get to the food next week.
Yes.
Speaking of next week, we have a guest.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Brenda, who's our guest? Meek? Jessica Meek.
Yes.
With Holistic Springs in Excelsior Springs. Next week, we've got a cool show planned for you guys. We're going to be talking about love again. We're going to be talking about aphrodisiacs specifically.
And we have some gifts to give away.
Plant-based aphrodisiacs.
Yes,
we're
we
going to
do.
be talking about.
Yeah.
We have from Holistic Springs. She's going to come here. She's an expert herbologist. I guess I made that up, but she knows what the hell she's talking about. That's why we're having her here, and she's going to talk to us about natural enhancement herbs and plants and little teas and concoctions and all that good shit. So doing that for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And
then
we might have
That's a good
something
one, Rachel.
special
Yeah.
for you men where we might be talking about ED.
What's that?
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
I heard it was ED. Anyway.
Educated decision?
Educated decision. I was going to
Educated decisions. Yes.
Accentuating
You're
circumstances?
going to be faced with a lot of decisions this weekend.
Oh,
Next weekend.
You're welcome, Mama. I see you.
On the 14th, you'll be faced with a lot of decisions, man. It's
what's
pertinent that you make educated decisions.
What's really exciting, and I know it's for me because on my side, it's our first in-studio guest in the new studio.
It is.
It's going
in
to be
our
pretty
new
awesome.
studio.
Yes.
So, hey, and thank you guys for all the great feedback on our studio. So,
I want to give a quick shout out to Johnny Poe. I've noticed your comments on there, brother. So glad you tuned in tonight. He put on there that this was a much-needed discussion. So it looks like we were able to help you. If you have any questions or anything we can do for you, hit us up, man. We'll happily, talk to you a little bit more about it. But I'm really glad you tuned in and glad we could help you out. Yeah, hit me up.
I don't give a shit. No, that's not true.
No, but seriously, we do this show for you guys. So anytime we know that we can actually help somebody, that's awesome.
And you know what? You mentioned, and I just want to throw this out there before we get out. We're running a little bit over, but you mentioned some cool giveaways.
Yes.
I know that Jessica has put together a really cool package. I know that your wife.
Yes.
She's put together.
My wife,
she's
Rochelle.
a massage therapist.
She's a
and
massage
put
therapist.
Together a really cool
Yep.
package for couples.
She's also a novice herbalist too.
Right.
Not as much as
she's learning.
Yes, she's learning, but she has put together some aphrodisiac herbs in a tea form, and some other cool items that we're going to talk about next week and give this away.
Awesome. Little videos and all that stuff.
We also have some honey from KC Hives.
And if you don't know what to do with honey on Valentine's
Absolutely.
Day, there's no hope for you.
Yeah,
so
it's
this is the wrong show to be figuring
right.
that out.
So we got some honey to give away too. So looking forward to it.
Hey, honey. So you know what, everybody? That's a wrap tonight. Thank you for coming out and hanging out with us. We hope we've enlightened you. So we'll see you guys next week for a really cool Valentine's Day special. And I don't celebrate Valentine's Day. Anyway, but it's fun.
That's another conversation.
I know, that's a whole nother conversation.
We'll have that one after Valentine's
We'll have that one after. We'll ruin it for you after Valentine's Day.
Afterwards.
So, you know what, everybody? Peace out. Stay lifted.
Later.
Stop.